You're back with Bek and Zach. We've been talking about the pathway to peace, and we talked about honesty, absolute humility. We talked about mourning and grief and pain, not only our own, but carrying it with others. And Zach, I'd love to know what you would consider that next step in the path to peace.
Yeah, I think every step going up this mountain is a painful one.
You haven't called it a mountain yet. You've just called it a path.
I mean, if you...
So what do you really want to say?
Well, it's a path. You're going somewhere. It's like, I think of climbing a mountain is it gets harder the higher you go. There's less air and you're more tired and your muscles are aching. And each of these sections of this, if you call it a mountain, are potentially more difficult. Sure. Maybe you already think to take the mask off and be honest and to cry is painful. But it's really just the first two parts of this journey. And I think there's so much released when you do each one. It's easy to just want to stay there. So like I have one friend and we're just honest with each other. I don't have to perform. I can just be myself with them. And that's so satisfying. You think that's it. That's as good as a relationship gets. But you haven't even tasted what could happen if you actually really took care of each other and shared each other's pain and all that. And when you do that, you go, whoa, we're even better friends. I didn't even know this was possible. But all of these steps are going to be like that. It's like you have no idea. There's a whole universe of relationship that's possible if you do the thing that you might not want to do. The next step after you've been honest and you've gotten all your pain and grief poured out into tears is actually you have to start letting go of control.
That's an interesting thought because and I know this isn't what you intend, but it can come across like if you take this step and that step and that step, that it's like a formula to peace.
No. Yeah.
And that just throws that completely out of the water.
Yeah.
So,
because one thing you have to let go of is the formula.
Yeah. Like I want a guaranteed outcome here.
Exactly.
And I want to invest in something that's going to work.
Yep.
So why is that so important then? And what are the dynamics that you're talking about when you say that?
It's when you I'll say it this way. There's a quote I heard. It's like, peace is like a poem. You don't know what it is until it's written. And while the poem is being formed, even the author doesn't know what it is. It's just coming. And then only at the end you see what it is. And if you don't enter this as a poet, you enter it as an engineer. This is just gibberish. This whole podcast will be gibberish to you because I need to figure out how to get that outcome with that person and in my family this, and it actually has to be a bit more of an artist poetry framework of getting there. Is to part of real art being birthed is that it didn't have an agenda attached to it. It flowed and it became something. If you already had the agenda, that's really called propaganda,
Sure.
It's it's art, but it's really you can see the agenda through all of it. It's trying to get a message across. It's trying to push something. And we all hate propaganda.
Of course.
It's just oh yeah, I get it. You're just really pushing your point. Or it's those cheesy, I don't want to slam it. I won't say it. There's cheesy. Cheesy is often used with that, where you can feel this artwork or this poem or this song is cheesy because it's forced. It's got this agenda to it. It's not raw and it's not coming from a place of letting it out and not knowing what it will mean and where it will go. And that's partly why some musicians are so loved by everyone because they just let it out, and they didn't control how it came out, and we go, yes, because we resonate with that. But as soon as you feel someone's trying to, this is all just a formula, it's like we shut down immediately. But the other side of it is, this is where trust is built in a relationship. And so like, you might be honest with me and have no mask on, and I'm the same. We become friends, and then we start to enter into each other's pain. And when you need help, I help you. But the next layer to go deeper than that is actually going to be built by testing. And testing, you'll give me a little bit of information, a little bit, and do I use that to control or to manipulate you, or do I only hang out with you when it works on my schedule, and only when I need a favor? You know, those people, it's like, we've cried together. I know they're paying all that, but they only reach out to me when they need a favor, because they're always in control. They always make sure they're controlling. And it's like that phrase, love never demands its own way.
Yeah.
It's like, am I demanding my own way?
Yeah.
And I'm only in this to get this outcome, and I'm going to make sure it goes that way. And I won't actually be your friend if you don't assure me that I'm going to get the outcome I want.
Yeah.
I'll drop you the moment I'm not getting what I want from you.
Okay, I'm starting to feel personally challenged. I know that's not your intention. So I do want to go there. But first, just because we've been using your stories from these conflict zones around the world. So let's start with that. And you've told us that beautiful picture of honesty. You painted the picture of a grandmother who is sharing in the same room, maybe with a person that has murdered her grandson.
Yeah.
What is the key that unlocks what you're talking about here in that next step in those situations?
Yeah. I mean, there's my role when I'm jumping into the situation and I'm meeting the people. This is life or death. If I have not let go of trying to control where this goes and what's going to happen with these people, I might die. Like, the people I'm dealing with, they are masters of control. I meet with Islamic militants and in the jungle. They've got guns ready. They're testing. They're looking in my eyes to see, they can scan you so quickly.
Who's brought you here? What agenda do they have?
Are you, and is this from the government? What is,
right.
And it's so vital that I have internally truly am vulnerable to the local community. Whatever you want, I'm not controlling where this goes.
Right.
I'll listen to you, all that, but I don't know where this is going to go, and I'm not trying to prescribe that before I even meet you, before I know your name, before I know your story. When they see that I really don't have an agenda, that I'm really not trying to control any of the process, they start to trust me, and it can happen quickly, but normally in relationship, it takes time.
Yeah.
We check and we go, can I trust them? Or are they trying to control me? Do they, in workplace, that's a big one. Right. Do you actually care about me? Or is it, you're going to pull the power move when you need to make sure, don't go there. Don't you dare. And as soon as we feel that, we go, okay. But then we never let them in any deeper. And so you get stuck, you can get that far. I think in Christian context, it's a big one. Checking, will you still love me if I go this way or not? We there's limits, and we go, ooh, and then the control comes in. Right. Don't talk about that. Don't even have that discussion, or where. And we kind of show where the boundaries are, and it's fine if you do that, but that's the limit of your relationship in that area, in that way. And that is a really hard step when it's your enemy, and to actually let yourself be vulnerable, to go and be led places you don't know if you want to go. And I'm careful to say that. I'm not saying this in a violent situation or abusive situation or anything.
Of course.
But just in a regular relationship, or when I'm that's me entering into a community. When I'm in a group, how do you do that? It's actually really easy. We do the first one, being honest. We just have them answer questions. Who's someone that's brought peace to your life? And they all start talking. And as they start being honest, they start to bond with each other. And then you say, what's a moment that's shaped your life? They start crying. We start crying together. You say, we've done the first two, and this is in an hour. And then what's the next question? What's the next thing you do? You guys are a team. Create a team name and a song. And all of a sudden, they have a new identity, which is we're a team. We're not enemies anymore. We got to figure this out because there's other teams. They want to beat the other team. Right? But it's like, and that to collaborate is actually requires a letting go of control. You have to solve. We do collaboration games, and everyone has to work together. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And it forces what I would say is the word that attaches with all this letting go of control is gentleness. Okay. And gentleness is this Aussie farmer, a good friend of mine. He said, I learned gentleness is you have to be really strong to be gentle. It's not a weak word. It's not. And he used the example of how with my kids, I can throw them in the air and catch them, and they don't get hurt because I'm strong enough to do that. But when they try to throw each other in the air, they just hurt each other because they're not strong enough to be gentle.
Right.
And gentleness is there's another word, meekness came from the training of war horses. There's a particular type of horse. They look through the horses and they go, that one's for working, that one's for racing or different things. But then they would find this one special horse was the horse that could run absolutely full speed wherever you told it, go all in with no fear and no hesitation, but also would stop on a dime whenever just from the little flick of your foot, you could stop them, and they would withhold all that energy and be able to restrain themselves. And those were the ones that were found worthy of battle or whatever. And I think that term meekness is really powerful. Is what do you do with the power you have? And there's 3 things you have to overcome with your power. 1, do you use your power to serve yourself? If you do that, you'll never go deeper in relationship with people. Sure. Unless they think they can get something out of you using your power. Like, they'll attach to you because you're going to go to the top or whatever. Right. But if you have to overcome the desire and temptation to use your power to serve yourself. If you can't, that's it. You can stop the journey, finish the podcast. But that's going to be a massive one to see. And often your relationships will be stuck there. If you can look at your relationships and go, well, but every time I get any power of any kind, I use it for myself. I never use it for anyone else. I'll never use it to serve, or I will never give away any power to anyone else. Well, there you go. That's the end of your relationships. That's the end of the depth of your relationships. And everyone around you, if you're not sure if you do that, ask someone that knows you.
That's brave.
Because they know if you're doing that. Yeah. And they go, I'm not giving you anything because you always just use it for yourself. Wow. And it's always about you. And so that one. The other one is you want to use power to do something amazing, to wow people into following you or into getting status or any of that. And if that is at all in your heart, people will know it, and they will not give you any power. The people that, when I'm out in these places where there's a lot of power, there's a lot of guns, there's a lot of violence in every direction, everyone's looking for power. When they meet someone who never uses power to serve themselves and doesn't use it to try to get a political following or any of that, that breaks through in trust, that they go, you can be the peacemaker. You can actually help us get somewhere. We trust you because we've tested you, and you never use anything for yourself, and you never corrupt it. Power corrupts. Sure. So this one about gentleness and not grabbing for control is about whether your power will corrupt you or not. And many will say, well, no, power always corrupts, but there is a way to have power redeemed that it doesn't corrupt you. But this has to be done in the personal relationships in your own self. And it's rarely done because usually the ones we see grabbing for power are the ones that are corrupted by it. And so we don't believe there's a possibility of having power that doesn't corrupt you. But
what's the difference between being motivated by an outcome? I mean, even if the outcome is simple as like a flourishing relationship, versus just that genuine no agenda.
Yeah.
How do we find that within ourselves? Because like I have ambition for my kids, right?
Yeah, I know.
And sometimes I do think I cross that line.
Yeah.
However well intentioned.
Yeah.
But like also if I didn't have any hope or intention for them, I may not activate at all as a mother. Yeah. Like how do you find that line?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the terminology becomes really nuanced and helpful is I have to let go of the outcome, but I don't have to let go of hope. And usually those are completely attached. My hope is in an outcome.
Right.
It's like, but no, my hope is that my kids will flourish. And absolutely, I'm not ever going to lose that hope. I hope not. Right. But can I let go of that outcome or that ever being real?
Yeah.
Like that I'm already committed no matter where this goes. I just love you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to control you. I absolutely hope for the best.
Right.
But I'm in for whatever.
Yeah.
And when people experience that, that's a deeper level of attachment, love that is like, whoa, I could actually hurt you and you still love me and you're still going to walk it out and you're not going to lord it over me and beat me over the head about it all the time for years and years and all that stuff we do to kind of manipulate and control and try to come on. And we do it in all these little ways that we're using our little bit of power to control or attempt to get a certain outcome which is demanding my own way, what I want to happen. Something weird happens in this paradox that when you let go of control of those things, you stop trying to control people. Often I find the outcomes I let go of happen when I wasn't trying to make them happen. And the more I try to make them happen, the less they happen. Because there's a subconscious mechanism in us that we can detect when someone has an agenda and when they're trying. And
or when my affection is contingent on something.
And unfortunately, parents are like probably the best example for us of like, I know what you're trying to do, Mom, and I'm not like, and like, you know, and you feel and you just resist and rebel against that. And there's something, it's just a paradox. You think the more I do this, maybe they'll get to that outcome. And actually, the more you do it, the more they resist that outcome. So that's a part of it, I think, is that letting go of the agenda. We'll talk about that more in a future, like a later step. But this one's letting go of the negative desire for control, which connects actually with us identifying our fears earlier.
True.
Because
fear, that's usually where I feel vulnerable as a parent. It's like I'm afraid that the pain they're going to suffer or the consequence of life if they... It's almost always,
So fear always leads us to control. And so that's why it's so important in the first episode to be like, can you be honest about your fears?
Right.
Because wherever your fears are is where you're going to see yourself controlling. And can we release those fears and take steps of courage? Courage is doing it even though you're afraid, and let go of control in those areas, trusting the other person and trusting God, or does something there. That courage of trust deepens the relationship, and that person then opens more of themselves to you. And if you don't, this whole stage is actually the stage of trust. You can build some trust by being honest, obviously, and by grieving, but this is when the deeper trust is tested.
Yeah.
And what will you do when you're given power?
Yeah.
And if I give you any more power in my life, will you use it corruptly and try to control me? And
I feel like that's an important point, and I know you mentioned it because there could also be the perception, if I do these things, then the really controlling person in my life will stop. And the reality is that's not. It's important to get help if you're in a relationship where power is being used inappropriately.
Yes.
And, but focusing more on what I can do to be the kind of person that is trustworthy. How can I cultivate gentleness, like as a virtue in my life and in the way I treat people?
Yeah. I want to attach it to the previous 2 episodes of every step along this way. Just like we said, you can't grieve if you haven't been honest. Like, I mean, your tears won't bring healing if you haven't been honest, because there'll be some self-pity spiral. You'll just go worse and worse. Same with this one. If you are being gentle and meek and not controlling, but you're not being honest, it's not blessed. You're going to be a pushover. You're going to get abused. You're going to have all sorts. It is not healthy. It is not going to lead to deeper relationship. It will lead to the controlling people controlling you.
Right.
And you'll just go, okay, yes. You'll be a yes man. And that is the critical thing, is you've now been completely honest, which means everything is out there. You've been abusing me. You know, whatever it is, it's out there. There's no more hiding. This is what's going on. I've cried it out. My pain has been like poured out. And now I'm not going to try to control you. I'm not going to try to twist this in any way. I'm not going to play manipulation. I'm not going to do any of that. It comes from the healing and the honesty that you started with. You're still doing those 2 while you're being meek. It's like they flow on, but that's where it gets so quickly corrupted, is when you're doing gentleness. You know, they have certain people that they hate conflict. So they're so gentle, but really they just get pushed around. They're getting hurt all the time. And there's no deep relationship. It's just they can become slaves to somebody because they refuse to be honest and to really communicate and let their pain be heard and seen and flow. And then, only then would their gentleness and meekness have a transformative and blessing effect on the relationship. And so in a team or in a community, that's important, that you, as it's a community like we work in, or a church, or whatever community, a village, are we all able to be honest without any masks? Which I was just in a community out in remote Australia, and I felt that from them. I was sitting there. They have lots of brokenness, and you can see lots of things, but I was like, the one thing they have is absolute honesty, because they were so poor. They can't hide their brokenness. If someone's an alcoholic, they're just an alcoholic. They're not hiding it. It's clear. It's like,
they're not hiding that.
No.
But
the
reason behind that.
The reason behind might be hidden.
Yeah.
And all that. But I was thinking about that, the blessing that the poor have sometimes in these areas is they don't have the privilege or the resources to hide like we do when we are wealthier, and we can put on better clothes or whatever. We can always cover ourselves more. It's interesting that of that starting place, having a community that's just, I am who I am, and we're not performing for each other. Amazing. Having a community that actually cares when there's pain, and also rejoices when there's rejoicing. There's happy tears, That, wow. But then this is the next layer, is our community, our leadership structure, our politics, not controlling, manipulating, demanding its own way. All that as a corporate is an amazing blessing into a deeper level of relationship for everyone, not just me and you.
Yeah.
But creating spaces where in a workplace where that is meekness and gentleness and not controlling is actually the place. That's a healthy team.
So how do I cultivate that gentleness in myself and in my life? How do I grow in gentleness?
Yeah. I mean, it could be as simple as purposefully, I can think of like, with my kids, letting them decide where we go, or, like, I don't really want
giving up your power regularly,
and choosing it. Yeah. Just choosing like, you know what? I'm not going to demand my own way. I'm going to let you choose. Why don't you choose where we eat? Or in my team, to let someone else's idea, let's run with it. Let's try it. I might even think it's going to fail, but there's a practice of like, I'm willing to go to things that I wouldn't want typically. That's a small example, but I'm trying to think of better places where you have to give up your preferences and your desires. You don't have to, but you can, and you can cultivate a space of gentleness. The other side of it is listen more, speak less. Like, can you, in a team meeting, not have the last word or not speak for half the time? I mean, some people really need that to speak less, just be quiet. Maybe even commit yourself to be quiet for a whole meeting and listen to everyone else. It will develop a lot of letting go of what you think you need to chime in and what your input needs to be and getting it to go your way. And I think another way is in a working framework or a community is to ask questions like, do you think that I'm a bit controlling? Or have I done anything that has made you feel shut down and like I'm not going to let you input into something? That's a question towards gentleness, because to ask it, you have to let go of control.
Yeah.
And then to listen, you have to really be ready for the answer.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking about that this morning because we were having like family dynamics, and I realized that I didn't prefer the way that my husband was dealing with something. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It was not my preferred way.
Yep.
And I so badly wanted to just like
make it your
bail
way.
him out. Like, just do it this way.
Yeah.
You'll find it easier. I'll find it easier. And I think what hit me in the heart was like, am I fully appreciating what he brings to this family?
Yep.
And I think that's where I'm different, so I do things different.
Yeah.
He's different, so he does things different. And that letting go of control, it all happened in my head while I was doing the dishes in like 30 seconds. But it was really profound. That letting go of control was really also welcoming him. Like, he's amazing. Like, he's your friend. He's incredible. But like welcoming him fully into being who he is in our family.
Which is welcoming him to be fully honest and humble, which is the beginning part. And, and it's, that's a beautiful place. And we know the people in our lives that are gentle, and they're the ones that we trust. We go to them because they never use what we give them for their own good or for whatever. And, and so we want to be that, but you have to let go to get there.
Yeah.
And I think of that with, that was the hardest part when I first got married, was shopping together, because we were just exact opposite about what it means to just go through a grocery store and get stuff.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard, but it really is an exercise in meekness and gentleness, because it was very clear that I couldn't be gentle about the frustration I had about the way she was doing something. And anyways, it's interesting to see like how those little moments aren't just little moments. If I can't even go shopping with my wife, how on earth do I expect to see any breakthrough in the real broken areas of my life or my community, the things where people are aching in the world for someone to help them. You gotta definitely figure out the shopping first,
Yeah.
to have a place, the gentleness needed to step into a war or into a devastating situation. And so, yeah.
Tell me about a time when you saw someone with the capacity for power to show that restraint that was necessary.
Yeah, these are a list of some of the most incredible peacemakers in history, I guess. It's the moment they were offered the power, particularly to get justice. I put that in quotes of what they would determine as justice, which usually people mean revenge. And for them to choose a path of meekness saved millions of lives. I think of, I know it's a complex story with South Africa, but Nelson Mandela was put in prison for 27 years, and he's there on an island breaking rocks, and he thanked God for that. I don't know if it was he or Desmond Tutu says Nelson Mandela needed those 27 years to soften him because he wasn't soft when he went in. But when he came out, he's given the presidency and the power of the whole military and everything. He is perfectly positioned to get as much revenge as he wants. And he chooses a different path. He restrains and chooses a path towards a multicultural land. And I just think, how on earth did he come out of that prison choosing that path?
Sure.
and that's the only reason South Africa exists right now as it is. I think he saved millions and millions of lives because of what could have been if he chose a path of that. And I think of a friend of mine. He is an elder in his community, and their community was rocked by a police killing of a young man, and it was proven that it was done out of racism and all that, but the police officer didn't face anything in terms of justice. And when that happened, his people were ready to just go to the streets and destroy. And he called on them with all of his power, with all of his influence, and all of the years of living in humility and all that with them. He used all of that to say, no, we will not move to violence. We will find a different path towards justice and peace. And he called on them to be gentle and to not be like that, not go to violence. And they didn't. And I just think, wow, what an amazing moment. He didn't just figure that out right then. It's years and years and years and years of choosing the gentle path and not choosing control.
Yeah.
That when the moment counted, when all of his people's lives were on the line, he chose gentleness, chose restraint. And so
the thing that goes through my mind when you share those things is a phrase that says there's a peace that surpasses any understanding.
Yes.
And I think that, yes, it's not just this feeling that we want to attain, but sometimes the way to get there is so opposite.
Yes.
Of what we think will work, or even upside down.
Yes,
absolutely. From what we think would work.
Yeah.
And yet I'm so thankful for the examples of people who have chosen that way. They're rare. It's why we look up to them.
Yeah.
But I wonder how we can, be gentle in our own lives today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing these stories, the richness of them. And I'm looking forward to journeying with you again.